Hey guys, Dr. Rachel Hippolyte here. So I want to share with you a little bit about the difference in how I treat compared to talk therapy, like psychology, counselling, those kind of things. So I get a lot of people that have been in therapy for years and years and years, and the big thing that they do say is that I know the reasons, but I still can't get past them. Okay, so first of all, I want to say psychology and counselling are really important. Talk therapy is so important, and for a lot of people, it will be enough to get an understanding of why they're behaving like that, why they're thinking like that, why they've got these symptoms. But for some people, it simply isn't enough. So when we're in talk therapy, quite often we're talking with our conscious part of our mind, okay? But when I work, we're actually working with the unconscious part of the mind. Now, when we talk about the unconscious part of the mind, this is the part of the mind that is automatic. It does everything behind the scenes without you being particularly aware of it. So it will keep your heart beating. It will allow you to breathe without having to think about it. It'll allow you to stand up by holding your muscles in tension, enough for good posture. Okay? But it also stores our memories, okay? And often in this unconscious part of the mind is when memories or traumatic memories or things that have happened into the past are stored. Now, they're running as a program. The way I like to think about it is it's the hard drive of a computer, and it's the software of the program. So those programs were put in whenever it happened. So it may be a trauma, it may be something that you heard as a child. Quite often we see poor self-worth is based on these programs where a child maybe heard that they weren't good enough, that they weren't allowed to fail, all of those things. But it's these memories that are stored in the unconscious part of the mind as that program. Now remember, the unconscious part of the mind is not logical. It doesn't know time, it doesn't know space. And it's stored these programs in order to protect you. That is its job, 100% to keep you safe and to learn from things to allow you to keep you safe in the future. But the problem is a lot of these programs were put in place when we were children, okay? But they're still running, they haven't been updated. Okay, and therefore they're still running, causing poor self-worth, causing anxiety, causing depression, causing DPDR, based on something that our brain learnt from years and years and years ago that is no longer, may not have even been relevant at the time because it was just a perception. But even if it was relevant at the time, the chances are you're not in that dangerous situation anymore, okay? And so when we actually work with the unconscious part of the mind, where those memories, those programs, those causes that are causing the behaviours that you have today are sitting and still running, okay? Now the unconscious mind, yes, it's there to protect you, but it also wants to do a good job. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to live that life that you want. Okay, so it's running those programs thinking it's still doing a good job. So when we work, we really mediate with the unconscious part of the mind to get it to realize that the programs that it's running are based on things that have happened in the past that are no longer real. It's running programs from our childhood when we're adults, when we don't need protecting, okay? And these programs are then stopping us maybe making good decisions, stopping reaching our goals, causing negative feelings, causing those feelings of poor self-worth, okay? Once we mediate and get it to realise that it's actually not doing its job because the protection that it's giving is based on an old story, an old program that isn't relevant in your life now, generally it will give up that memory and put it into the past, okay? Put it into a learning, because that's what life is about. We learn from those memories and then we move on. Okay, And it is pretty powerful stuff in how the unconscious mind actually does deal with these things and reprograms the brain. And that's the way I like to think about it. It's like updating a Windows 2 that we've been using for 30 years. You would never ever expect your Windows 2 to still be functioning in your programs 30 years later. Of course you would update it. And that's exactly what we do to the unconscious part of the brain. We look at the programs that are no longer benefiting you, and then we reset them. We reprogram to ones that will benefit you, that will give you confidence, to traumas in the past that are still running, like that you're still that little child. Okay, we update them for the unconscious mind to recognize that actually you do not need to feel like this anymore based on something that's happened in the past. So that's how we work slightly differently. I do have a lot of people that have been in therapy for years. They understand exactly why they're feeling like this. They know their trauma. They remember their trauma. But the more they talk about it, they're literally just strengthening that memory. They go into it, they edit it, they make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And so this is why they always come to me and say, I know the reasons, I just want to stop behaving based on those reasons. And that is the difference between talk therapy and what we do with the unconscious part of the mind. Okay, guys, hope that makes sense. If you are finding these videos interesting, please subscribe. Please like them. Please comment. Any questions that you've got, please put those questions in so that I can get more information out there for you. All right, guys, cheers.